Hello, here's another sketchbook page from my Concertina sketchbook. Today is going to be, what's the best way of putting it? Pretty explosive. Sometimes literally, it's terrible. I'm terrible for puns. So this one is, I think this one's mainly watercolours and pens and stuff. I'm doing a bit of, I don't know what I'm doing here. I'm just sort of sketching out some lines, so I've got an idea of horizon line and what's going on. This is me obviously doing a very dodgy sort of perspective thing. I suppose I got fed up with the fact that most of my straight lines, when I do them freehand, aren't very straight, which is fair, I suppose. So here's some weird little hammer shapes that I'm drawing. Can you guess what they are? I'm drawing a hat. So you probably know by now what the theme of this sketchbook has been from pretty much the get-go. It's all about good omens. If you know Good Omens, it's a book by, or if you don't know Good Omens, I should say, it's a book by Terry Pratchett and Neil Gaiman. And it is definitely worth reading. One I would recommend to anyone, really, of all sorts of ages. Oh no, it's the watercolour pens I'm using here. Interesting. I mean, they're not the best watercolour pens in the world, but they, I also decide I'm going to build up colour slowly on this one. But yeah, so it's basically a book about the end of the world. And these are all my own interpretations of characters and or scenes from the book. And this one, even though sort of this one is a particular scene in the book set in sort of medieval witch burning times. And it's kind of a semi-melancholy sort of moment, because not only, I mean, the witch may have been found, but she doesn't go without a bit of a fight. But then if you have precognition, you can choose the manner of your going, I suppose. Or can you? I mean, fate's a weird little bugger that way. I just quite like the description of it in the book, and it's done quite subtly in the TV series, because in the TV series it's more a focus on, I don't know, I suppose the dignity of the witch and the fact that she's accepted her fate, and just because she's accepted it doesn't mean she's happy with it, sort of thing, and she gets her revenge, I suppose. This is some ways it's tight. I mean, the book is quite dark generally, because, if you have a book about the end of the world, it's going to be a bit dark. But the humour in it is, there are bits in, if you read the book, that I found. I can't guarantee how you'll find them, but I found them laugh out loud funny. And it is just a nice study of both human nature and just the way people think about things, I suppose. So if you haven't guessed by now, the hammer-shaped things are old-fashioned nails. I don't really know what medieval nails are supposed to look like, but these are the simplest kind of nails I can think of, which are just basically little flat iron things. I don't want to spoil the book, but This is part of the witch's revenge. And without these and it's also kind of the book is kind of a study in cause and effect, I should say. You know, and sometimes how when you think something's going to turn out a certain way, it quite often doesn't. You know, trying to prejudge the circumstances in a thing is not going to necessarily work for everyone. You've probably seen me use these pens before. They're quite nice. I'm not sure if I would call them proper watercolour pens, but they are. I mean, they're water soluble, so you can get those. Oh, excuse me, dusty. Those sort of effects. It's not the groaner. Don't worry. But yeah, so as you can see, both the hat and this book have been expelled with some force towards the camera. I mean, not that it's a camera, but you know, the viewer then perhaps. I'm not sure that I shouldn't have. I don't know, part of me thinks that I should have made this look more like a medieval drawing rather than actually try and get any sort of realism into it. I've definitely put too much colour in it, but that's just my opinion. Could have done with some more stylisation, if that's a word. Being made more stylised. But, you know how it is, you get something in your head and you're like, do it, and sometimes you just do it until it's finished, and it is what it is. Which is a very popular saying at the moment, which means absolutely nothing really, because all things are what they are. They're very rarely something else. I'm annoyed because I drew a nail through the book and it's really hard to actually see there. Oh yeah, this is me being fancy. Putting a bit of gold lettering on here. Not that you can actually see what it says. Yeah, I've decided I don't like it, which happens. So I've set it on fire, so to speak. But that is the one good thing with these watercolour pencils, is you can draw up some of the ink, which is quite nice. Perfect for doing singed things, because it gives it that sort of weird edge that you get when you know, when you're watching a fire and the paper starts to burn and you've got that sort of dark edge before you actually reach the fiery bit. I love that effect. Not sure I 100% capture it here, but I had a go. The other thing I quite like is, you know, when you're watching a fire and you've seen that the paper's burnt but it's still got heat on it, and you get those little lines of sort of, they almost look like gold filigree, don't they? The fire just dancing along the paper as it burns. I am not a pyromaniac, I just want to point this out. What can I say? I like the aesthetic. Oh, that's a bit better. I have been working on my lighting setup to try and get it right. This is before I've changed it around. I'm not saying I may have stolen one of Kevin's ring lights. Well, I say ring lights. We've got a ring flash, which we never use, but he's just bought a ring light, which I may have half-inched at least briefly. Trying to give it some. So those pens, those white pens there, are ones I just bought off Wish, and I can't remember what they're called now, but they are metallic brush pens. They're quite good fun. They blend quite nicely with one another as well, so that's quite nice. Okay, see it's a bit brighter there. Oh, that's an orange fine liner I won in a tombola at an art shop in Plymouth. I think it's called the Art Side in Plymouth, which is a really nice little art shop, and I would definitely recommend it to anyone. I think it's online as well. You know, really good prices. It's not an advert, they're not sponsoring this, it's just I thought they were a really nice art shop, because I do love a nice art shop. Nothing quite like a little browse. Even little art shops can be really nice. Sometimes more so, because you get those sort of little ones. They're kind of like the art equivalent of those old second-hand bookshops. And again, if you've read Good Omens, you'll know why that is significant. So, you know, it's quite an appropriate thing that I should use that at least in at least one of these pictures. I'm trying to make it look as if there's several pages, like there's more than one page in this, it's not just one big lump. What have we got here? Oh, a bit of pencil lining to give it a bit of definition. Yeah, another shade of green, trying to tone down that bright green. Not really a big fan of bright green in images, tends to be a bit leery. Also, it's quite nice if you have some darkness at the front and then you have light then dark again, or light then misty. It gives it a bit more depth to the image. And when you want something where it looks like something's moving towards you, you really need to get the depth. I am cheating by making those lines, which are basically motion lines. So it's a bit of a cheat, but it's an illustration rather than a honest to goodness representation of an actual event, because it's not really an actual event, it's fiction. And therefore, no, I can do what I like. Oh yeah, trying to make like a rolling. I'm not sure if that's even how it would work, to be honest with you, but I quite like the idea of an expanding ring of smoke and gases, heated gases, and just general angry fieriness. So it's quite close to, I think it's quite close to the end. Is it quite close to the end? Oh no, not too bad. Got a couple of minutes anyway. So what I will ask you to do, and I don't know if, because this has been quite a quick one for one of these pages, what I was going to say was, if you enjoyed this, please like, subscribe. Feel free to create a themed sketchbooks to create themed sketchbooks of your own, because it's quite fun sometimes to do that, because it gives you a challenge, and I do like being challenged. What was I going to say? Oh yeah, please like, subscribe, share with friends. If you liked us, just, give us a little love. And I will see you soon, or you will see us soon, and I will be doing more pages from my sketchbook anytime now.